Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah. We are going to be going through a lot of books that I'm going to be unhauling. So I am definitely a big reader, but I am also a big book collector. I'm constantly buying books, but I also don't want to keep books that I've read and I didn't love. I want my bookshelves to end up being just all full of books that I really, really love and or would read again, you know. So about half of these books are books that I have read. The other half are books that I've either just outgrown, don't see myself getting to, you know, a myriad of reasons. Also, we're not going to talk about how wrinkly my sweater is. I forgot about it in the dryer and then this happened, but it's fine. She's still comfy. Okay, so I want to start with books that I have read and then just like a brief reason as to why. Some of these I'll fly through, and do you know what? Let's just get started. So the first book I am unhauling is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. This is the cover. It's a very pretty cover. A lot of these I got from Book Outlet, actually. Wait, why is there... Oh, hey. Bookmark. I think I listened to the rest of this on audio, which is why this is in there. Oh, it's like... What's her name from Crescent City, the little sprite? I forget what her name is, but love that I have that back. This was my first Christina Lauren book, and I have others by them that I still want to read. I didn't hate this by any means. It's a adult romance, like nothing crazy, just light, fluffy rom-com. It was like just kind of middle of the road for me. Nothing crazy, good or bad. It's just not one, definitely not one that I will go back to, and also not one that I see on my shelf and have really fond memories of. So it can go to a new home. Next book, this one I was actually really disappointed by that I didn't absolutely love. A few of these I am disappointed to be getting rid of because I didn't love them. And this one is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley, I think. This is her. I think this was new last year or the year before. This was my Book of the Month Club pick for May of last year, so it's almost a year old now, but I was so excited for this. It is like a lit fic sci-fi with kind of a subish plot of romance. There's a lot of different things in this book, and normally I like when genres kind of blend, but it just wasn't doing it for me in this one. The premise was so good, like the British government discovers time travel and it's secret, and they bring back people from the past, from different centuries to today, and it follows a man that they bring back, and the FMC is in the point of view of this woman who is basically set to look after one of these men. And so the premise was so good. I just found it really, really boring and almost too flowery in the writing. There was a kind of cool twist in it, which I liked, but the romance in it did not do it for me at all. Like, I did not believe the romance. I was not rooting for it. It felt very kind of random and just like, I was just like not into it. So yeah, I am sad to let this one go, but I don't want to hold on to books that, again, if I don't look at it on my shelf and feel good about it, you know, be like, oh, I loved my time reading that. Or if I'm not going to reread it, then it can find a new home. I do love the cover of it, though. Next is actually another Book of the Month Club book. This one was only from October of last year. It is called Dearest by Jackie Walters. This is the cover. It is like I guess it's a horror. I only read this in January, I think, and it's pretty short, but kind of, again, I was not as disappointed as The Ministry of Time. I went into this very open-minded. It just fell a little bit flat for me. It was horror. It was definitely a little fever dream-esque, but it just didn't give me enough. By the end of it, I was just like waiting for it to end. I didn't really care how it was resolved. I don't even remember how we got to the end of this book. Like, a lot was happening and I'm like, where did this come from? What is going on. But I also, like, pretty much cannot DNF books. I'm very bad at DNFing. I like to see things through. So I did, and I just didn't really care for this one. This little blurb here says, a new mom in need of help opens the door to her long estranged mother, only to invite something much darker inside. That's actually a pretty good blurb. But, like, you read that, but then also there was weird stuff happening before her mother came to her house, so I don't know. Next, another Book of the Month Club book. This is Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This is the cover. It's a very cute cover. I'm obsessed with this color purple. This was my December 2022 pick. Holy crap. Honestly, I think this was my very first Book of the Month Club book. Now that I'm thinking about it, okay, that's kind of sad to give this away. But yeah, I have to. I can't be a book hoarder. I'm a book collector. I'm not a book hoarder. This is a Christmas romance book, and I'm starting to get better at not buying Christmas romances. They're just like, they're good for 1 month out of the year, and if I really want to read one, I'll read it on Kindle Unlimited or on my Kobo or something. This was just, it was just a typical romance. It was very predictable. Like, I knew exactly what was going to happen. The main character has a one-night stand. She has a one-night stand with a woman like a year prior, and then in the present, she ends up like fake dating. I forget if it's her boss or I don't know, some like higher up guy, and she kind of does actually like him. But then his sister, and she goes home for Christmas with him, and his sister ends up being the girl that she hooked up with. And like all that drama. And yeah, it was just really predictable. Like, it was cute, but not my fave. So there we go. Next, this one was probably the biggest disappointment to me, and I still am like, should I just keep it, have it on my shelf? But because every time I look at it, I'm disappointed, I am going to rehome it. And that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Definitely a classic horror. Like, I say horror because I don't understand how this can be classified as horror. Like, maybe thriller-ish, but that was one thing that was really disappointing, is that it was not spooky at all. It was like they heard one like noise in the hallway, and that was supposed to be like this big scary thing that happened. I was also confused a lot in this book, and also I watched The Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix show, like multiple times before reading this. I love that show, and I was under the impression that the show was similar to the book, but they are not at all similar, like at all. So probably a lot of disappointment came from that. And also the fact that this book was written in 1959. So it is written obviously a little bit differently, and I struggled a little bit with it. But yeah, it was just weird. Like, some things that they were saying just like didn't make sense. Things came out of left field. I just didn't enjoy it. So, new home. Next one was one I was really excited about. This is another thriller called Murder in the Family by Cara Hunter. This is the UK edition. I got this when it was new, I think maybe last year, maybe the day before, because I'd seen it on, 2023. I'd seen it on Book Talk, and I was so excited about it because the premise is really, really, really cool. If you can see, like, there are so many different media forms in this, because it is written as a script for a murder mystery docuseries. So the format of it is super cool, and you're like reading each episode of this docuseries as these professionals are trying to solve this murder case. So you're reading Reddit posts, you're reading text, you're reading emails, you're reading the script of the show. That's like the main dialogue in this book is the script, or not even the script of the it's not a script because it's a docuseries, but the show is what you're reading, if that makes sense. So that was really, really, really cool. What fell flat was the actual plot of the story. Like, I can usually never guess where a story is going to go. Like, the twist in a thriller, I don't think I really ever guess, which I like. I like that I'm dumb in that sense, because I'm just like along for the ride, because then I'm surprised and I enjoy the book more when I haven't guessed the twist. But this book, I actually did, or like half of it, but like half of the ending was obvious to me, so that kind of ruined it a little bit. And yeah, it just fell a little bit flat. Like, if it wasn't for the mixed media in this, I don't think it would have been a great book. And next we have My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This was the first Tessa Bailey book that I ever read. I love the cover of this, and it's like really soft. Like, it's so cute and soft. And yeah, I was excited to get into her. I loved the premise of this one because it's like a murder mystery romance. Tessa Bailey is a super popular adult romance author, by the way, in case you don't know. But yeah, since reading this, and now I think I've read 5 of her books. She is just not the author for me. I'm not the biggest romance girly. I do like romance, but it's not my number one genre by any means. But she is just not it for me. So I have officially given her up. And yeah, I've already gotten rid of some of her other books, but I kept this one just because I liked the cover. But no, she has to go. Do you know what, while we're at it, I have not read this one of hers, but I have Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey as well. This is the second book in like an interconnected standalone. The first one is It Happened One Summer. You can see it right there. I don't have that one, but I have this second one that I think I got off of Book Outlet, and yeah, I'm just never gonna read it. She's not the author for me. They're just the typical fluffy romance, but just like there's like nothing to them. They're like too surface level, and I don't like how she writes spice. So goodbye. Okay, back to books that I have read quickly. This one, All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox. Another Christmas romance that was just fine. I'm never gonna read it again. It's about this singing competition show between 2 of the contestants, and the male is the son of a famous country singer. And yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't need to hang on to it. And the last book that I actually have read of all of these is The Crimes and Punishments of Miss Payne, written by Barry Johnsberg, I think. I am slightly sad to be getting rid of this one, just because this is technically a children's book, and I've had it like since I was a child. I don't know why I never read it, but I finally read it last year, and it is like obviously written for children. Like it is a super easy, fast read. But yeah, just because I've had it for so long, it's really nostalgic. And it was fun. It was fun. It was funny, but clearly a children's book that I just know I'm never gonna pick up again. This is the cover in case I didn't show it. All right, moving on to the books that I have not read. I used to be a Fairy Loot subscription holder, and then I was with Illumicrate for about a year. Are these? I think one of these is Fairy Loot and one is Illumicrate. I was with Fairy Loot when they, I think in their flop era. Like, what is this? The cover is like not that bad. It's just not really for me. But look at these sprayed edges. Like, that is just unacceptable in my opinion. It does have a signed nameplate in it, which is cool. But this is The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. I don't even know when. Like, this was like this was like maybe 4 years ago. But I just know I'm never going to read this. This was just me going through my special editions and being like, okay, what do I know I'm never going to read just to clear out some space? And I do not like the look of this book. I read the blurb. It was like nothing special, so she is going to go. It is an adult fantasy, and yeah, that's really it. It's pretty chunky. Whoa, look at how big the numbers are. The chapters, that's fun. So I'm Canadian, and I wouldn't mind actually selling like some of my special editions. And we don't have Pango books, which sucks. I know Americans have Pango books, which is like the ideal book selling app, which I wish we had. I don't understand why Canadians don't have it. And I asked on my ASMR channel as well where I should sell my books, like eBay, Depop. What is the best place to sell books in Canada though? Because I never have done that. I also really don't want to. Like, that seems like so much work. I don't want to have to package them and go to the post office. Like, that's a lot of work. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Oh my god, my leg is falling asleep. Okay, so the Illumicrate book that I'm getting rid of, I thought I was getting rid of more special editions. I don't know what happened to them. Anyways, this is Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. It is a beautiful book. Very, very pretty. Just again, the blurb just doesn't seem like something I'm going to get to anytime soon, and I wanted to make some room on my shelves. Excuse me. But yeah, just another adult fantasy. A mother and a son, a goddess and a prince, a curse and an oath, a river whose course will change the fate of the world. And there she is. Oh, I do have another fairy loot, but this one is teeny, teeny, tiny. Like, why is this one so small? Like, this is the typical size of special edition subscription boxes. This was like a normal fairy loot one. Why is it so tiny? But this is Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb. That's the sprayed edges. And yeah, same thing. Adult fantasy, just, I don't know, just doesn't speak to me. It is signed. Oh, do you know, that end paper is really pretty. Next, I'm probably going to get rid of the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. This is Clockwork Angel. I've had this book like forever, but I do want to read this series really, really bad, but I'm getting rid of this because I got a new paperback version of the whole trilogy, like a box set version, and I only had the first one in hardcover. I prefer paperback. I love the new covers, like the spines are black and white and they look really nice together. So I don't need two versions of this book, so I am going to get rid of this one. But if you do know, I don't even know if they make this cover anymore, like this version. So if they don't, I might keep it because this is from 2010. Ooh, I actually really like how big the font is in this. So I haven't 100% decided that I'm going to get rid of this, but I probably will. Just because it's a pretty decent sized book and taking up space. Next, I have The Good Son by Jacqueline Mitchard. I've never heard of this author. I didn't know anything about this book, but one of my mom's friends from work, a lot of books that she gets, she reads and then she gives them away. She doesn't keep them and hoard them like I do most of my books, not all. And she gives me a lot of her books. So I got this one, which I was very grateful for, but it just doesn't seem like something that I am particularly interested in. It says, one of America's most acclaimed storytellers comes a powerful, emotionally charged novel of a family redemption and a mother's love. Yeah, it doesn't seem like something I am going to get around to. So it can go to a new home to someone who will love it. Next, I have Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Merer. This is it. This is a book I have not read yet, and I actually have another version of this and the second book, which are bigger with sprayed edges that match, and they're really floppy and look really nice together, so I want to keep those versions. This one is a UK version of it. I'm sorry, UK, but your books are so stiff. I hate reading physical UK copies of books because they're so unbelievably stiff. Like, look at that. That is like the worst. Whereas look at Hook, Line, and Sinker like that, and it like stays open. I do like the covers of some UK books more, but the physicalness of them, I'm sorry. But yeah, I just so happen to have another version of this book. I don't need two of them. I like my other one more. Same cover and everything. But yeah, so. And then I have a couple nonfiction books. This one, The Most Probable World by Stuart Chase. I think I got it like for free from some library that was like giving away books. I do love astronomy and thought that maybe one day I would read it, but I don't think that I'm going to. Oh wow, I just realized the cover is a deflated like earth ball balloon. How did I never like actually look at this cover before? Yeah, I just don't think I'm ever gonna get around to it. Oh my god, it says on the back $1.45. Today this would be about $500. Just kidding, but probably like 25. And then also this one, The Science of Why by Jay Ingram, who was one of the hosts on Discovery Channel's Daily Planet. I've had this book for so long. It's like kind of a coffee table book. It's actually really cool. I haven't read the entire thing, but like I've skimmed it, looked through it, you know. I've just had it for so long, and it's such an odd shape that I never know where to put it. Like it looks weird on my shelf. I don't want it as a coffee table book. So I think that it's time for her to go. But I do really like this book. Ever wonder why onions make you cry, or why lizards do push-ups, or why leaves change color in the fall? Well, read this to find out. All right, and now the last 6 books have a theme. They are all written by Miss Colleen Hoover. Now, I am not the biggest fan of Colleen Hoover, hence why I'm getting rid of most of her books that I own. When she was like at her top, most popular, like at her peak, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I bought so many of her books. I feel bad now for doing that. Like I kind of hate myself for doing that, but it's fine. It's whatever. I did keep Verity and Layla because I do actually really like those books. So those are on my shelf, but I don't want to read any more of her books. And I also think that these are all romance and maybe sad, and I don't really want to read them anyways. So ones that I'm getting rid of are Ugly Love. This is the one that I've heard questionable things about, where the main characters talk about their baby's balls. Like, I don't want that. And then Regretting You. And Heartbones. As well as All Your Perfects. November 9. And finally, Reminders of Him. So all of these will be going. And that is all for my book Unhaul. Thank you so much if you have watched this far into the video. I appreciate it so very much. I plan on making so many more bookish videos like this, like all sorts of bookish videos on this channel. So if you would like to subscribe, I would really appreciate that, and we can hang out and talk about all things books together. And with that said, please go take care of yourself. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!